Have you ever wondered how it feels to live in a house that echoes with the cries of wars long past? Picture this, an ancestral home in the heart of Mumbai. It's more than just a building, it's a relic of history, a testament to the passage of time. Its walls have stood tall through countless monsoons, basking in the warm Indian sun and bearing witness to the ebb and flow of generations. But this house, this sentinel of history, carries a curse. It's a curse born from the tumultuous past. A past steeped in wars, strife, and lives lost too soon. The first time I heard the war cries, they were faint, like distant thunder on a stormy night. Their ethereal echoes danced through the hallways, a spectral symphony that sent chills down my spine. The cries grew louder with each passing night, a chilling chorus that hung in the air, painting the silence with an eerie melody of spectral sorrow. And it wasn't just the cries. There were other happenings as well, other instances of the paranormal that defied the realms of reason. The flickering lights, the sudden cold drafts, the inexplicable feeling of being watched, the sense of an unseen presence always lurking in the shadows. The house seemed alive, pulsating with an energy that was both eerie and electrifying. Each creak of the wooden floor, each rustle of the ancient drapes, each whisper of the wind seemed to carry a tale. A tale of a time long gone. A tale of lives lived and lost. A tale of a history that refused to be forgotten. Yet, despite the spine-chilling encounters, my roots hold me here, in this house of spectral whispers. This is my home, my history, my heritage. It's a strange bond, one that ties me to the past, to the echoes of those who came before me, to the spirit of the house itself. It's a bond that transcends the fear, the unease, the ghostly happenings. It's a bond that, in its own peculiar way, feels like a strange kind of love. Despite the spine-chilling encounters, my roots hold me here in this house of spectral whispers. From one haunted abode to another, let me take you to a serviced apartment that was anything but ordinary. This apartment, you see, was not your average dwelling. It was a place where the boundaries between the living and the dead were blurred. A place where shadows didn't just belong to the physical world. Here, the silence of the night was often punctuated by the soft, eerie laughter of a child, an innocent sound yet terrifying in its implications. This child was not of our world, but of the one beyond, a spectral being, a remnant of a life once lived. A life cut short perhaps, or maybe one that simply couldn't let go of its earthly ties. The child seemed to inhabit the apartment, its ethereal presence felt in every room, every corner. Its ghostly apparitions were a common occurrence, a chilling reminder of the apartment's otherworldly inhabitants. The child wasn't alone, though. The apartment was a veritable gathering place for the supernatural, a hub of spectral activity. There were other apparitions, other figures that would appear and disappear at will, each one with its own story, its own tragic tale etched into the very fabric of the building. These apparitions were a constant presence, an inescapable part of life in the apartment. They were as much a part of the dwelling as the walls and the floors. They were the uninvited guests, the permanent residents, the silent observers of the living world. Yet despite these unsettling experiences, despite the constant presence of the otherworldly, the apartment was not abandoned. Its convenient amenities, its promise of comfort and ease, kept its living inhabitants tethered. They chose to stay, to coexist with the supernatural, to live their lives in the shadow of the spectral. Convenience often comes with a price, doesn't it? In this case, it is the company of the otherworldly. Sometimes the most ordinary things can hide the darkest secrets. Take, for instance, a cupboard in my room, an innocent piece of furniture, one would assume. Its surface, though, tells a different tale. The color of the cupboard is a chameleon, shifting with the passing of each day. Its hues dance between the lines of normalcy and the uncanny, concealing a mystery beneath layers of paint that peel away like decaying skin. The peeling was an invitation, an enticement to pry into the cupboard's past. And as the layers fell away, so did the facade of normalcy. The dark history of the cupboard began to emerge, as chilling as the winter winds that whistle through the cracks of this old Mumbai residence. The previous tenant of my room had succumbed not to the hands of time, but to the relentless grip of despair. The cupboard, it seemed, was a silent witness to this tragic tale of a life snuffed out too soon. The thought hung in the air, a spectral presence that was hard to shake off. Yet every time I considered leaving, the bustling streets of Mumbai would remind me of the harsh reality outside. The city, teeming with people, paradoxically offers little space for one to call home. The struggle of finding a new place in this sprawling metropolis seemed a far more daunting task than living with a haunted cupboard. So, I stayed, choosing the lesser of two evils. I learned to live with the cupboard of secrets, its dark history now a part of my everyday life. I found an odd comfort in its presence, as if its story had somehow connected me to the pulse of the city. In the hustle and bustle of Mumbai, a daunting cupboard is a lesser evil than the struggle of finding a new place. What's more haunting than a tragic love story that leaves its shadow behind? In the labyrinth of my memories, there's a tale that chills me to the bone. A tale of a young maiden and an older man bound by the threads of a love story that ended in tragedy. Their spirits, it seems, have never truly departed. This girl, an epitome of youthful innocence, fell in love with an older man, a man who carried the weight of the world on his shoulders. Their bond was as deep as the ocean, as passionate as a raging fire. But alas, fate had a cruel twist in store. Under circumstances shrouded in mystery, they both met untimely ends. Their love story abruptly cut short, left behind a chilling legacy. Their presence lingers, casting a spectral shadow over our home. There are times when I find the girl's belongings scattered around, as if she's just stepped out for a moment. A hair ribbon here, a trinket there. Mundane objects that carry the weight of a tragic past. The nights are when it becomes truly unnerving. There are instances when I've heard her, knocking on our car window, her unseen hands sending shivers down my spine. It's as though she's trying to reach out, to communicate, to tell her story. And yet, despite the spectral visits and the eerie reminders of a love lost, I couldn't bring myself to abandon my home. It's a strange thing, the bond between a person and their home. Even when shadowed by tragedy, it holds you, tethering you to the very walls that have borne witness to sorrow and joy, love and loss, life and death. Can one abandon their home when it is shadowed by tragedy? I couldn't. Living with the ghosts of the past is not for the faint-hearted. It's an existence that is as chilling as it is intriguing. The spectral figures and unexplained phenomena that haunt these spaces bring with them a heightened sense of awareness that permeates every moment. Imagine, if you will, sitting down to your morning coffee, acutely aware that you're never truly alone. The unnerving sensation of being watched, the inexplicable chill that sweeps the room, the soft whispers that seem to echo from nowhere. It's a reality that is as eerie as it is captivating. But what is it that keeps these individuals tethered to these haunted abodes? Fear, certainly. The fear of the unknown, the fear of what lurks in the shadows, but also a strange sense of intrigue, a fascination with the otherworldly, a desire to unravel the mystery that surrounds these spectral presences. And then there's the attachment. An odd, inexplicable bond that forms between the living and the dead. These spectral inhabitants, after all, are not merely apparitions. They were once living, breathing beings with stories to tell, histories etched into the very walls of these homes. In the dead of night, when the world outside is silent and still, these spectral figures become a haunting reminder of the past. Their presence, a chilling testament to the lives once lived within these walls. And yet, there's a strange comfort in their company, a reminder that even in death there's an essence of life that lingers. Living with the paranormal is not an easy feat. It's a journey fraught with fear, a constant dance with the unknown. But for those who brave this path, it's also a unique glimpse into a world that exists just beyond our own, a world that is as fascinating as it is terrifying. Despite the fear, there's a strange comfort in the familiarity of these spectral presences. It's a living testament to the enduring nature of the human spirit, a reminder that even in the face of the unknown we find a way to adapt, to coexist, to live. Hauntings are not limited to the silver screen. They are far more real than you can imagine. As we journey through the eerie corridors of the supernatural, it's important to remember that these experiences aren't figments of an overactive imagination. They are as real as the breath you're taking right now, as tangible as the device you're listening on. Living in a haunted house is not just about ghostly apparitions, spectral visitors or shadowy figures in the corner of your eye. It's about the chill that seeps into your bones, the whispers that echo in the silence, the inexplicable feeling of being watched when you're completely alone. It's about the uncanny events that defy logical explanation, the spectral cries that shatter the stillness of the night, the objects that move of their own accord. This is the reality of the haunted, the constant cohabitation with the unseen, the unending dance with the unknown. It's a life where every creak of the floorboards, every flicker of the lights, every gust of wind carries a question. Is it them? Are they here? But more than the fear, more than the uncertainty, it's the acceptance that becomes the most haunting. The understanding that these spectral tenants are as much a part of the home as the bricks and mortar, the fixtures and fittings. It's coming to terms with the fact that the supernatural is not an anomaly, but a part of the everyday tapestry of life. And yet, despite the fear, despite the uncertainty, despite the eerie encounters, there's an odd sense of normalcy that settles in. It's the human ability to adapt, to find a semblance of peace even in the most unsettling of circumstances. It's the realization that living with the paranormal is not so different from living with the normal. It's just a different kind of normal. These aren't mere stories, they are fragments of my life. They are the chilling tales that have shaped my existence, the spectral experiences that have etched themselves into my very soul. They are the haunting realities of living with the unseen, the uncanny, the supernatural. They are my truth, and perhaps they could be yours too. If these tales from the other side manage to send a chill down your spine, then you're in for a treat. As we journey deeper into the realm of the unknown, we'll uncover more stories of the eerie, the uncanny, and the downright terrifying. Stories that will make you question the world around you and the shadows that lurk in the corners of your room as you sleep. Just imagine living in an ancestral home in Mumbai, hearing war cries echoing through the halls, or residing in a serviced apartment, only to be visited by ghostly children in the dead of night. Or perhaps discovering a cupboard that holds a dark secret from a previous tenant, or witnessing the remnants of a tragic love story that still haunts your home. These are not mere figments of imagination, they are real experiences shared by real people living in real haunted houses. Now, if you found yourself captivated by these tales of the paranormal, we've got plenty more where that came from. We're here to delve into the depths of the supernatural, to explore the unexplored, and to bring you stories that are sure to leave you sleeping with one eye open. So, if you're brave enough to join us on this journey, there's one thing you need to do. Take a moment to smash that like button. It's a small act, but it helps us continue to bring these spine-tingling tales to your screens. And while you're at it, why not hit the subscribe button too? That way you'll never miss out on a new tale from the other side. Every time we publish a new video, you'll be the first to know. So are you ready to plunge further into the realm of the unknown? To uncover more tales of the eerie and the uncanny? If so, we'll be waiting for you on the other side. Don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe to be notified every time a new video is published. Until then, keep the lights on.